mainly small scopes. I think one of the main teaching. I just give you general the summary. Small scopes mainly our emphasizing is, of course, uh, Guru devotion and precious human life is just these two are just like a basic. These are just basic. So the beginning is the beginning small scope. The beginning is first uh, impermanent death meditation, and that's the one uh, mainly. Of course, general all our mental afflictions are the main the obstacle who obstruct us to achieve enlightenment or to achieve liberation, ultimate peace, and also our mental afflictions are the fundamental causes of all our suffering, right? That's no doubt. So among those mental afflictions, the first problem is attachment. So we have so many attachments, and we have like what you call very deep and attached. So attachment is the one who uh, what you call holding us into the samsara. So we have so much attached in mundane pleasure. That's why we're stuck into the samsara. So that's why to deal with our own attachments, so they're just baby step. So they first talk about the death meditation. So the death meditation, has death is certain, the time of death is uncertain. At the time of death, nobody can help except karma, right? The main three roots and the nine reasons. So each root has a three reasons. Then finally three decisions. So the three decisions we're making is, I will practice the Dharma, I will practice the Dharma right now, and I will practice the Dharma only. So that's a three big decision. It's based on three roots. Roots, which is death is certain, the time of death is uncertain. At the time of death, nobody can help us except Dharma, right? The three roots. So three roots, which is first we have to hear, then we need to be contemplate, investigate, then finally meditate, experience. So our heart should fully understanding, oh, one day I will going to die. And the time of death is uncertain. At the time of death, nobody can help me. My family, my material, my power, nobody except the Dharma. Dharma is the only can help me. So these kind of three understanding, the three roots through the deep of one's own heart. Then when you knowing that, then what your decision? So knowing death is certain means one day definitely I will going to die. And when you know that by your heart, then what kind of decision you have to make? Just stay with the fear. That's not, that's the not point. Just staying with the fear, rather don't meditate about that then, right? So of course, when you think about the death, it can bring some kind of fear. But that fear, what we're using is we need to determine it. We have the decision. So death is certain. That's why our decision is I have to practice the Dharma. So the practicing once, practicing Dharma. Then the time of death is uncertain. Then what after that, when you meditate on time of death is uncertain, you feel fear, then what you decide? Your decision is, I have to practice the Dharma right now, not just delay. Many people, we have some kind of laziness. We say, oh, not today, maybe after retirement or after something. So we always, something like a pushback to uh, focus on the Dharma. So when you have that kind of laziness, then we're meditating, the time of death is uncertain. So that means, oh, there's no guarantee when will I'm going to die. So the Lord of death never wait. It doesn't matter you young, doesn't matter you healthy, doesn't matter. There are many young, healthy people are dying. Yeah, so many condition, causal condition for death. So, these three reasons, you meditate, you contemplate, analyzing, then finally your mind fully understand, like accepting. Sometimes our brain knowing, but our heart still don't know. So that sometimes we have a problems. So that's why, uh, meditating on this kind of meditation is not just knowing by brain is not enough. We have to know through our heart. So the knowing by heart is more difficult. So that's why we have to meditate. And meditate doesn't mean you just keep just, uh, what you call the breathing meditation or shamatha meditation. That doesn't mean that. Mainly analytical meditation. So have to analyze it, reason the logic to make you, oh, okay, just, yeah, we don't need to go very detailed. I think you finish these things. So, but the uh, small scope, they talk about the death meditation, and specific understanding of suffering is the suffering of lower realms, three lower realms, hell realm, hungry ghosts, and animals, right? So then through that, um, you taking refuge. So the refuge, then after that, because of that refuge, understanding of law of causality, the karmic systems. So these are the mainly, the small scopes. So the among the small scopes, the practice is taking refuge. So the taking refuge is in order to enter into Buddhism. So when one say I am Buddhist, so I am Buddhist, what that really means? Means the practitioner, he or she, if you take refuge to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, if you have a refuge practice, then you are become a Buddhist. If you do not have the refuge, then you are not a Buddhist. So enter to the Buddhism is by the refuge. So the refuge is the gate to enter the Buddhism. Then, medium scopes, they talk about the Four Noble Truth, 12 link of interdependent origination, through that developing renunciation. So after the renunciation and uh, after when you renunciate, then you have a very strong sense of, the wish to achieve self-liberation. Then in order to achieve self-liberation, what kind of path, what kind of practice can lead us into the nirvana, liberation? It's called three trainings, right? Training, the higher training of moral ethic, higher training of concentration, and the higher training of wisdom. So it's called the moral ethic, concentration, wisdom. Through three higher training, we what you call uh, achieve self-liberation. So that the medium scope we finish. But the main focus is the renunciation. So renunciation is the one very important. If that's the way you decide you become a serious practitioner or not, is based on the renunciation. When you have the renunciation, then your practice will becoming, you are on the right track. If you do not have renunciation, then you are not on the right track. So sometimes even yourself consider as a practitioner, but maybe say, oh, I'm doing practice, I'm prayer to the Buddha, I'm doing this for what? Oh, it's for success my business, or for to found, very good husband for my daughter, or very good wife for my, um, son, or all those. It's still about the mundane things. They're doing or prayer or something practice. It's for mundane success, lack of renunciation. So that if you have a renunciation, you renounce all those mundane pleasures. So mundane pleasure, they're understanding these are still part of suffering, which the usually when we talk about the suffering, three different types: suffering of suffering, and the changing suffering, and suffering of conditioning. So among these three, the suffering of changing, which is those mundane pleasure. samsara pleasures. So samsara pleasures are when they looks like pleasure, looks like nice. But when you got it, when you live with that, it will turn, it will change into suffering. It will eventually turn into the suffering. Therefore, these pleasures, the samsara pleasures, are not the true pleasure. These are not. If these are the true pleasure, then when you receive it, first when you got it, you've been full of joy. Then when you stay with that kind of pleasure, you have to be more joy, when you experience this, it makes you more joy. Instead of that, it's turned into completely opposite. So, but to know about the suffering of changing as a suffering is very important. So the initial practitioner, we have what you call ignorance, mistaken consciousness or the wrong consciousness. So we seeing the things that samsara pleasures are the true pleasure. So that's why we running after those samsara pleasure. Then we end it up with a difficult life, complicated life, and that kind of we are running because of the attachments. We're seeing these are the true pleasure. So that's why uh, what you call renunciation, which is knowing we are not just enough to just appearance, just go there, dig down, investigate to understanding much deeper level of those phenomena, and that will help us to understand a much better way. So eventually the main point is as long as it's called the third level of suffering, the suffering of conditioning. As long as if he or she under the influence of mental afflictions or the negative emotions or negative contaminated karma, then doesn't matter wherever you go, wherever you stay, you will still experiencing suffering. So it's called suffering of conditioning as a suffering. Knowing suffering of conditioning as a suffering is crucial. It's very important. Then when you know that, who pulled you into samsara? Who really, uh, uh, what you call, bringing suffering toward you? It's your mental affliction. It's your, what you call, the mind of ego grasping. Oh, now it's somebody mic on. Could you please mute your mic? Yes, good. So that's why the suffering of conditioning, which yes, suffering of conditioning is more important. So, and suffering of conditioning, the mental affliction, which is your negative emotion, your ignorance is the main your enemy. You suffer because of your ignorance, right? So I suffer because of my mental affliction, my negative emotion, my contaminated karma. That's very important to know that when you're knowing that, then who can able to help me to get rid of this negative emotion, so then you can see only the dharma. Dharma is the only can able to helps you to purify those negative emotions. So you adopt the dharma. Main purpose is to cleansing your mental affliction. It's not about the success your business. It's not about to find a good girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife. It's not about this mundane thing, right? It's simple thing is we adopting the dharma is because of my negative emotion who pulling me into the samsara, my negative emotion who brings all this my problem. That's why I'm struggled. That's why I'm stressed. That's why I'm depressed. That's why I have this problem, that problem. That's why I born in, what you call samsara. So all these things is you blaming toward your negative emotion, not to somebody else. So when you really know that, deep of your heart, you feel full disgust toward your mental affliction, your negative emotion. So that's very crucial. So in order to feel disgust, or in order to feel what you call dislike towards one's own negative emotion, is knowing disadvantages of one's own negative emotion. So when you knowing the disadvantages of all your negative emotion, that helps you to feel disgust toward your negative emotion. You know, uh, what you call feel dislike toward your negative emotion. Another word, feel fear toward one's own negative emotions. When you feel fear to your anger, your attachments, your jealousy, your ignorance, your mind of ego grasping, or your self-centered, when you feel fear, when you feel disgust, when you feel, what you call dislike toward those negative emotions, it helps you to wish to change, wish to free from them. So when you have that very strong sense of wish to free from one's own negative emotion, and what is that? Means cessation of mental affliction, right? Freedom of negative emotion, you feel you have a very strong desire to wish to achieve that freedom of one's own negative emotion. Self-liberation. It's called the cessation, nirvana, right? Which is freedom of one's own negative emotion. So when you have a very strong sense of, wish to achieve that liberation, then who can help you to achieve liberation? Who can lead you in there? Who can helps to attain or achievement? It's the dharma. So that's why you engage into the dharma. It's the only main focus is to get rid of your negative emotion. If you have that kind of set of the mind, then out of that intention, then how should I learn the dharma? Then as a different situation, that's why you go to the centers, you go to the temple, you go to the monastery. It's the only for learning the dharma. And that's called the institute. So the monastery is supposed to be the temple, or centers are, institute who educate. What they educate the dharma. So you learn dharma from there, then you utilize, experience, meditate, apply, and day by day when you apply, use it, the what you call the result point is to reduce your negative emotion. If you're too much angry person, engaging, adopting dharma, listening dharma from your, from your temple or wherever, when you're taking this dharma, and the purpose is taking this dharma to cleansing your anger, your attachment. So when you engage into the dharma after 1 year, after 10 years, so when you see something helping you to reduce your negative emotion, that means you are in the right track. What you're doing is right. Instead of reducing this negative emotion, it's increasing egos, or something like a negative pride, or arrogance, or anger, or jealousy. It's go to the center, go to the temple, and the result, increasing more negative emotion. That means you are the wrong track. It doesn't matter whatever you're doing, doesn't matter how important masters over there, but you are not in the right track. It's about you, right? So first, you need to make sure you are qualified to engage into the dharma. Qualification, you have to make it. If you are not qualified to engage in the dharma, then how important masters, teachers over there, even Buddha, when you go there, whatever you're taking something wrong. We call the three containers, right? Three container. The container with a hole in the bottom, container which is upside down, container which is inside the dirty, like a contaminated container inside the poison, then out of these three containers, if you go there, whatever you put it in there, nothing benefit to you. So to cleansing the container, keep qualification is the renunciation. So then you're going over there to the center or wherever you're going there, is the point is to learn this dharma and use and stay with the dharma. And because of that, day by day, your mental affliction is something reduced. Because of that, that's why your behave, your physical behave, your speech are changing, becoming more positive instead of negative, going to be more positive. So that kind of, what you call life or that kind of process, we need to go that way. Otherwise, sometimes, if you are not lack of renunciation, then go to these temples or wherever, then judging to the people. Sometimes, sometimes we have too much politic into the centers of all these institutes. Then instead of benefit, it's making too much problems here, there, everywhere. It's nonsense. It's a sometimes it's unfortunately it goes on that way. So we should think this all of these problems. Then sometimes we bringing what do you call go to over there, and eventually sometimes it brings too much problem, and it's not benefit to you, it's not benefit to other people. Instead of benefit, then it's becoming like a war zone. It's becoming a war zone. So it is the one first mistake is because of lack of renunciation. If you have a renunciation, then whatever drama is going over there, your focus is not about that. I'm going there to learn the dharma, to fix my anger, to reduce my negative emotion. So you go there, you're just adopting this practice, all those dirty things left there, don't bring. So if your mind is not right track, instead of adopting the pure dharma, you adopting all those dirty politics, all those dirty things bring there. You eat it up with a full of stress, more stress, more depression. Sometimes it can go that way. So it's be smart. It's very important. So all this, my point is, renunciation is how important. If you have that, less obstacle. Even whatever physical, so much drama, whatever going on, it never polluted you. Makes yourself very strong, very pure concentrate. So that brings you completely change. Then, whatever your process, whatever you're doing, is about the dharma. How can spread the dharma? How can help the dharma? Because through your own experience, it's so much benefiting us. So how should I help to others? Your focus is more on dharma instead of all this guy, that guy, blah blah. This is like living same mundane things will becomes otherwise. So these all one of the problem is lack of renunciation. So we studying in Lam Rim here is not only for knowledge, not only for academic, it's more for practical. So that's why rather as each individual, when we finish these small scopes and medium scopes, the purpose is meditate, what you call through the three wisdom. Wisdom arise from hearing, wisdom arising from contemplation, wisdom arising from meditation. So three different types of the wisdom. We have to grow, develop these three wisdom through that, experiencing, achievement, achievement in our heart, something to change one's own mind. So wisdom through hearing first, then wisdom through contemplate second, then wisdom through meditate. So without hearing, without contemplate, it's very difficult to meditate. So without hearing, very hard to contemplate, think, right? So it goes each first. So that's why in order to hearing, to uh, grow the wisdom arising from hearing, so we need to hear the Dharma. So to hear Dharma not only once, it's again and again and again and again. Even the same message, you have to hear again and again and again. So each time we hearing, it's something the seeds we're putting into our brain. We put some seeds into our deep of our heart. So that's why, you say, oh, I know that I hear already. Now I need something new things I need to hear. So that kind of, concept is academic. So your intention is academic, just wants to know what they are. So if you really wants to change, you engage into the Dharma is change one's own mind. If that's the purpose, then you have to hear these things again and again and again and again. So that's why in order to hearing the Dharma, that's why those institutes, those Buddhist centers, Buddhist temple, we're going there is to hear the Dharma. So listen again and again. Then after that, contemplation, contemplate, which means investigate, right? Analyzing. So that's why we go to the center and there to what you hear, what you learn, then maybe your interpreter of you hearing maybe not right. We're saying the same word, but when you interpret behind the meaning of this word, maybe your understanding is completely wrong. Who knows? So to make it clear, then you go to the temple. You have a Dharma students, sanghas, discussing each other, debating each other to help to my understanding is right or wrong. So you don't know. Sometimes, like for instance, simple. According in the Dharma, we say we always be meditate love, right? Meditation on love is very important. Say love meditation. But maybe the person who understanding of love is attachment, then big problem. Say, oh, now my understanding of love is even you saying the love, but behind the meaning of what is that love is attachment. Then when you meditate attachment, the result is attachment still growing up more troubles, right? To make it clear. So this in the book, the teacher is saying love, but what does that really means? Then you need to students. That's called the Sangha, Dharma supporters. We take refuge the Sangha as a Dharma supporter, Dharma companion. We discussing each other. Is this love which means that? Or this? Which one is that? So to first make clear this behind the meaning is really the right valid. So that we learn sometimes just staying alone difficult. So that's why you need somebody can support, can explain, can discuss. So that's why the debate is not about the anger or competition, as the debate is to sharing your knowledge each other. So we don't know, you ask the question. So the person gives you the wrong answer, you just proving, showing the evidence this is wrong, it's contradict with this. It's not about anger or challenge or competition. It's about to make it clear the Dharma, to discuss. So that's why, as a practitioner, having those Sangha group is also very important. To before you meditate, make sure you fully, know, not just knowing, your understanding of the Dharma will correct. So then when you put it into the practice, much beneficial. So that's why these kind of things, because of that reason, you go to the center. You go to the Dharma Institute. Whatever you have study groups, Dharma group, whatever they call, you're entering there to learn, to discuss, then finally meditate. So that last wisdom arising from meditation, that means experience. So first, you hearing, you knowing. Secondly, you investigating. You becoming very interesting. your understanding level is different way. Contemplate gives you some kind of encourage. Then third, what you know, what you understand, you implement, you meditate, experiencing. Then the result comes after the meditation. Result is not just after the knowing. After the knowing, no result. Main result is not there. Result is only comes after you meditate, after you're experiencing, right? So that's why uh, those the Dharma institutes, wherever you're staying, use on that way. Uh, this is your hand. Where should you use? Use on this kind of way. Otherwise, it's sometimes uh, it's uh, instead of benefit, it's creates so much problems. So all these things are, I think it's the mainly renunciation which gives you really good supports. You take you into the right path, the right track. So that's why renunciation, it's very important before you're meditating on bodhicitta. Sometimes people, we are ignoring the fundamental things. We are jump into like higher practice. Oh, there's something very high practice. What is that? Mahamudra or Dzogchen or whatever high things there. Just going there and first jumping on there and not focusing in the fundamental things. So because of not having the foundation, how much you jump, you will fall down. You build the house on the ice. When your person build the house on the ice, doesn't matter how much hundreds floor or whatever, right? Building, very high building, you build it, but it will fall down because the foundation is not stable. It's just ice. It will melt it down. So that's why we have to go step by steps. So the first, if you have a very strong renunciation, then hold your focuses to cleansing one's own mental affliction. It's hold your practices to achieve cessation of your negative emotion, not about here or there. So that's why cessation of one's own mental affliction, in order to feel that, then first understanding my negative emotion is one of the worst enemy. This is the mind who hurts me, who harms me, who pull me into this mundane, complicated life. Everything by my mental affliction. If I'm not free from this my negative emotion, doesn't matter wherever you go, still problems, right? So it gives you really a clear sort of intention, renunciation. So that's why first, meditate renunciation as a daily, and it gives you more self-aware. It gives you more inner aware. Otherwise, our mind is always looking outside, externally. It's very hard to look internally. Because of that lack of looking internal, so when we apply the dharma, very hard to apply internally. So dharma is supposed to be applying one's own inside to transforming inward. It's not outside. So therefore, all this, the first mistake we making is lack of renunciation. So that's why the renunciation practice is so important. So that practice taught in medium scopes, right? So that's why the medium scopes, when you say, oh, I finished Lam Rim medium scope now. Now I'm meditating on great scopes. What is the medium scope? Maybe you don't know, you just follow what they say and just only visualization. So your practice goes into just visualization alone, then it's not enough. Just visualization alone is not. It's mainly the experiential. Visualization or reciting prayer, all these are branches. These can help us to experience. So that's why they say, oh, after the meditation on small scope, after I finish the small scopes, yeah, always be aware about that meditation. So because of that, always, we're fully aware that meditation on that. And because of that, less attached to this mundane pleasure, samsara pleasure. Because of that, less bothering now. Good or bad, it's not that much obstructing you. It's because you're always looking internally. So, because of that, then, after they finish my small scopes, the faith to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha has become much stronger. And because of that, it's, you take refuge to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So taking refuge to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha is, among these three, mainly taking refuge to the Dharma. Dharma is the main who can able to save you. Who will going to save you directly? Your Dharma. So Dharma, so your faith, your trust, your convince to the Dharma become much stronger, becoming very deep. So that's why you're taking refuge is becoming, even taking refuge is also internally, right? Buddha Dhamma Sangha save you means what? How they save you, which way they save you. So all those details we study on small scope, so we need to be apply, we need to be practice, then it will change something. It's becoming more self-aware, inner aware, not just externally. So these are the more the important practices. Don't think, this is just refuge. It's simple. What's mean by refuge? Refuge, which means I go to the master or the teacher, the Rinpoche or somebody, and he just cut my hair a little bit here. He changed my name. He gave me some Dharma names. And I repeat when he said blah, blah, blah. I repeat blah, blah, blah back there. Now I'm Buddhist. I got the refuge. It's nonsense, right? It's just ritual. So the ritual is just as a ritual. The refuge is internally, so it's completely different. So sometimes the people just follow with the ritual things, then, or I take this much higher master, then, which master? This master, who's that? This very popular. He has this, he has that, and this. It's like sort of business, it goes on that way, and it's just my teacher, then your teacher, then all these things comes up. So it's all this nonsense. It's first a mistake, really don't understanding the true dharma where we need to apply. So those refuge and all those we finished last many months ago. So all these things are not just, I know that, not just live like that way, but rather take seriously, and put it, and all these things, the messages, why the Dharma is the main refuge. Among Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, Dharma is the main who can save us directly. So what that really means, how Dharma is important, how the Dharma save us. So these all things you need to be discussed. We already finished last time. So now you need to bring it back, discuss, put it practice, and your understanding level of Dharma is getting deeper. Not only that, that understanding Dharma can help you to inspire you to go much deeper practice. So otherwise, sometimes, when you engage into the Dharma, too much miracle. Sometimes people go in that, miracle power. So somebody can bring, meditate, I see some light, I see this or that, and get some miracle power. Now it's changed. These are the concept. I think it's sometimes it makes you laziness, and then it's your focus is changing. You waiting some kind of light can come. You waiting some kind of medical power can come. You never seeking. I have problem my attachment right now, so that's why I have so much fear. I have so much depressed. I have so much expectation, and that's why it creates me too much anger. So all these things, not looking on that level and seeking some kind of blessing or somebody can fix me. That's not going to work. That's fundamental contradict with the Buddhist concepts. These are I don't need to say again and again, but just little bit inspire or what you call go back in the reflect to our the, uh, last teachings, small scopes and medium scopes, to make sure uh, you understand that way. You apply Dharma in really in deeper level, internal level. Doesn't When you have that, then doesn't matter. People, whatever they call you, high Rinpoche or nothing or simple person, you don't care. You engaging Dharma is cleansing your negative emotion. It's not about what people will going to tell me or what they think about me, what kind of power I will going to gain, what kind of name or reputation I will going to, as long as when you're looking on that kind of uh, a level, then Dharma will never help us. So when you have renunciation, it doesn't matter what people think about me, doesn't matter if people accept or not me. My point is to cleansing my negative emotion. That's why I engage into Dharma. It's internal work. It's not about external things. So it gives you very stable, very profound. It goes into really the point, the track, and that will really change your life. So that's all comes with the renunciation. So that's why it's important. Now that today is great scopes. So it's called great capacity or great scope, which is main teaching is Bodhicitta, relative bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. So the ultimate bodhicitta is wisdom of emptiness, is the wisdom aspect of the practice. Relative bodhicitta or conventional bodhicitta is the method aspect of the practice. So the Lam Rim, the subject of the Lam Rim, the main focus, the teaching of the Lam Rim is bodhicitta, and the ultimate bodhicitta and relative bodhicitta. These are the two. So the bodhicitta, like all the Buddhist, Buddha's teachings, we should put it into two: method aspect of the path and the wisdom aspect of the path, right? Method aspect and the wisdom aspect. So the method aspect of the path has a many, like what you call taking refuge, or renunciation, all their many, understanding of karmic system. These are the still part of the method. Among those many, the practice of methods, one of the highest, the best, the main, and the best, the method aspect of the path is relative bodhicitta, right? Conventional bodhicitta. That's the main among all the method. One of the best and profound method practices bodhicitta, relative bodhicitta. Then the wisdom. Wisdom has also so many. Wisdom or understanding of impermanence, wisdom or understanding of law of causality, wisdom or understanding of Four Noble Truths, wisdom or understanding on 12 link of interdependence. So there are variety of wisdom aspect of the path. Among those wisdom, one of the very important, the highest, the profound wisdom is wisdom who understanding the ultimate truth of self and all phenomena, called ultimate bodhicitta. So the ultimate bodhicitta is the wisdom who cognizing the ultimate reality of self and all the other phenomena. So these are the two with now great scopes, great scope teaching there. So as a practitioner, our focus is really engaging, studying the great capacity or great scope is to generate the bodhicitta. Because in order to achieve enlightenment, Buddhahood, without bodhicitta, there's no way to achieve enlightenment. Bodhicitta is like an engine who push you on there, right, on enlightenment, on Buddhahood. So like a main engine. Then you have many obstacles. Who obstruct you while we want to achieve enlightenment? Who obstruct us to achieve enlightenment? Is ignorance, mental afflictions, right? Negative emotion, mainly the ignorance, which is called wrong consciousness. So ignorance have many different levels or the layers. Ignorance or not understanding of impermanence, the ignorance which is misunderstanding of karmic system. So there are many. Among there, one of the root the ignorance is ignorance through misunderstanding of ultimate reality. All right? That kind of ignorance called mind of ego grasping. So these are the ignorance who obstruct us to achieve enlightenment, Buddhahood. So to get rid of, to cut this ignorance, to remove this ignorance, who can able to do that? Wisdom, who understanding the ultimate truth. That's why, ultimate bodhicitta is like a sword. We're going to cut all these root, poison roots, ignorance, able to cut that. So that's why method aspect of the path, which is the conventional or relative bodhicitta, wisdom aspect of the path, which is ultimate bodhicitta, we should go together. Brings those two together through that, to achieve enlightenment. Not only method aspect, not only wisdom aspect, we have to use both together. So that's why these are the two main practices. So among these two, the first we are talking about the method aspect of the bodhicitta. So the method aspect of the bodhicitta, in order to explain that, first we need to have some kind of inspire. We have to have some kind of wish to achieve that, wish to generate, like feel like a sort of the desire to the bodhicitta. So if you do not have desire to develop the bodhicitta, then you learning this is just as a academic. It goes like an academic. Oh, what is this phenomena? Okay, I know. Now it's okay, finished. That's all. So academic, which means just knowing, that's all. So that's why to inspire as a what you call practical way, then we have to have very strong desire, not only know that I myself wants to achieve that. I myself wants to experience it. I'm learning on bodhicitta is not just what this phenomena is. It's not just as a knowledge. It's mainly I want to experience. I want to achieve. To do this kind of, to stimulate or to encourage, to inspire these kind of things, first what we need to know the benefit of giving rise to the mind of enlightenment, which means bodhicitta. Benefit of giving rise to the bodhicitta. So that's we need, because when you understanding the benefit of bodhicitta, then it's inspired. Oh, I want to do that. Like a businessman, in order to business, first they're looking what is the benefit. If I do this benefit or this business, what kind of beneficial? If I do that benefit business, what kind of beneficial? Looking some kind of profit, what you call profit or something, right? The beneficial. That's why you doing this business. That's why you entering into the business world. So similarly, in order to enter into the bodhicitta, we have to have first understanding the beneficial of those bodhicitta. What are the beneficial? So according to the liberation of liberation in the palm of your hand by Pabonka Rin, most of you all know about this book. So according to the Pabonka Rin, it says 10 different beneficial. So the first benefit is called, it is the soul enter way into the Mahayana. So it is the only enter way into the Mahayana. So the bodhicitta is the gate, like a door to enter into the Mahayana. If you have bodhicitta, then you are in the Mahayana. If you do not have, you are not bodhisattvas, right? The Mahayana track. So the Mahayana, Maha means great, right? Yana means the vehicle. So the Mahayana, to enter the main Mahayana or not, it's not about what tradition you follow. So somebody say, oh, I am a Mahayana practitioner because I follow Tibetan's tradition. So that's That's not right way to say. It's the, oh, I am practicing Mahayana, which means I'm practicing Bodhicitta, right? My practice based on Bodhicitta. I'm interested to Mahayana, which means I'm very interested to practicing Bodhicitta. So that's Bodhicitta is the, that's why it says it is the only the interway into the Mahayana. So in order to enter into Mahayana without Bodhicitta, is no way. In order to enter the Buddhism, refuge, right? Refuge is the gateway into in the Buddhism. Becoming Buddhist is gateway is refuge. Similarly, in order to enter the Mahayana path, then bodhicitta is the doorway, gateway to enter the Mahayana path. So if you do not have bodhicitta, you are not, have the Mahayana path. So having Mahayana path or achieving Mahayana path is based on the bodhicitta. So that's why it is the only interway into the Mahayana. Then second, one attained the title child of the victors. So once one attains the title, the child of victories, which means child of the Buddha. Victors means the Buddha. So child of the Buddha, which means Bodhisattva. So Bodhisattva is called the child of the Buddha, right? Bodhisattva. So the Tibetan we call Gyalse. Gyal means victor, Buddha, enlightened beings. Se means the child. So the child of the Buddha, which means Gyalse, Bodhisattva. So one attained the title. So if you have bodhicitta, then you become a Bodhisattva. If you do not have bodhicitta, you are not Bodhisattva. So sometimes people say, I am Bodhisattva, I am Vajradhara, I am whatever this or that. It's just using the title. So the true title is simple. It's not about your physical appearance. It's not about what physical you have. Its simple thing is if you have bodhicitta, then you are becoming true bodhisattva. So bodhisattva or non-bodhisattva is based on bodhicitta. So that's why it is saying one attains the title bodhisattva. Then the third, it overpowers the lineage of hearer, Sarvaka, and the solitary realizer, called the Patika Buddha. So Theravada or Hinayana tradition has two, right? Sarvakayana and Patikayana. There's the two things, which Sarvakayana, which is called hearer, and the Patikayana, which means sometimes it's called self-realizer or solitary realizers. So these are the two, it's called it overpowers the lineages of Sarvakayana and Patika Buddha Yana, both. So it overpowers, which means even you engaging to the hearing or Sarvakayana, you're engaging their part, each has a 5 part, like Sarvakayana has a 5 part, and the Patika Buddha Yana has also 5 parts, Mahayana has a 5 parts, right? So the 5 parts which called accumulation parts, preparation part, and seeing part, meditation part, and no more learning part. So even through the practice as a Sarvakayana, who achieve what you call renunciation, then go to the preparation part, accumulation part, then second preparation, third seeing, no more meditation, then no more learning part. Eventually you become a called Arhat being, for destroyer, right? Self-liberated. But that person called Arhat beings who self-liberated. But as a Mahayana, just your ordinary person, meditate, practice, finally you just achieve the bodhicitta. When you first arise in the bodhicitta, you enter into the Mahayana part, the first part, which is called accumulation part. Just having the bodhicitta, the Sarvakayana and Partikayana, even they are heart beings. You can overpower the lineage. You can still overpower them because of the power of bodhicitta. So bodhicitta is so much powerful. Therefore, even you are just the first part, accumulation part, you can able to overpower all of these uh, practitioner. So that's why the how great mind. Why this able to overpower? Because bodhicitta is based on compassion. The compassion uh, we call spatial compassion, or sometimes Tibetan we call haksam, which means unusual attitudes. So that which you seeking all sentient beings. You care about all beings, not only one person, all beings. You care about others' well-being, the others which countless of their well-beings. Because of that great, huge, big-minded, therefore, bodhicitta achieved from through that kind of minded, therefore bodhicitta can overpower the other, even they are hard beings. They achieve self-liberated, they can overpower them because the Sarvakayana and Patika Buddhayana do not have unusual attitude, special compassion or something. They are still, seeking self, only in the self, concern about self-benefit. That's why he can overpower that. Then the next one becomes a supreme object of offerings. So when you have a bodhicitta, you are becoming supreme object of offerings. You can accept our others' offering. And then people, when they offer to the bodhisattva, they accumulate so much virtues and merits because of the power of bodhicitta. That's why you are becoming a supreme object of offerings. Then one easily completes extensive accumulation of merits. So when you have bodhicitta, even the simple prostration, you're just doing one simple prostration out of bodhicitta, which means you are thinking about all sentient beings, wish to benefit to all beings, behalf of all beings, even one single person can accumulating, countless of merits. So it's about your intention. So if your intention is only self, or your intention is all beings, if your intention is behalf of all sentient beings, when you're doing prostration, you're accumulating multi of the virtues and merit. So that's why the what you call uh, one easily completes extensive accumulation. I think your side mic is on. Didn't you put the mute your mic? Looks like the dog is barking, so I think your mic is it's something like on there. So it's called easily completes. Easily, which means as long as when you have bodhicitta, just staying with the bodhicitta every day, you're accumulating virtues and merits and tons and tons. So that's why it's easily, completely, very extensive, what you call virtues and merits. Then next, one rapidly purify faults and obscuration. So very easily, rapidly purify your faults and your obscurations, because most of our faults is created by self-centered. So the self-centered is one of the fundamental causes of all our anger, attachment, greed, and so forth. So when you have bodhicitta, when you are living with the bodhicitta, self-centered is not, no chance to arise there. So no self-center help us, no attach, no anger. So it helps to reduce, it helps to suppress all those emotion, the negative emotion. That's why one's rapidly purify faults and aspirations because of lack of ego, very humble, very open-minded. So living with these kind of attitudes, of course, it can help us to purify all those faults and obscurations. And of course, because it's accumulating so much virtues and merits, and just power of bodhicitta can help us to purify so much our negative karmas. Then the next one, accomplish all wishes. So, Chisambatupas in Tibetan, which is one, accomplish all wishes. So one of our main wishes is enlightenment, Buddhahood. So if you have a bodhicitta, bodhicitta will lead us to enlightenment, Buddhahood. That's our ultimate happiness, ultimate peace. So that's why one accomplish all wishes. One is not afflicted by harmful entity and obstacles. So you will not able to harms by harmful entities and harmful entities and obstacles. Sometimes we call uh, external, what they call the demons or evil or devil or all these kind of things talking about. So as long as if you have a bodhicitta externally, those obscuration, harmful entities will not able to harms you, the power of bodhicitta. So that's why when Buddha, when he stays under the Bodhi tree through the meditation on love, on bodhicitta, so external harmful entity, how much they try to obstruct him, nobody can able to do that. So you can see that he's in the story of the Buddha, when they throw the stone or they shoot the arrows, whatever, they turn into flower, all this. So this kind of it's the power is because of the bodhicitta, because of loving to those entities. When you have unconditional love to those entities, then whatever they try, not able to harm us. So that's why the one is not afflicted by harmful entities and obstacles. Then the ninth, one swiftly accomplishes the grounds and the path to enlightenment. Like, uh, one swiftly accomplishes the grounds and the path to enlightenment. There's the 10 bhumis, 10 grounds, the 10 bhumis, and the path to enlightenment in Mahayana path is 5 paths and 10 bhumis. In order to achieve enlightenment, it's not just sit there, meditate, and just next day enlightenment, right? So we have to know exactly, in order to go from Durban to Johannesburg, you have to know in exactly, okay, before the Johannesburg, which town I have to go first, then next town, you have to go all those paths, right, through those small towns, then you will going to get the Johannesburg, right? Similarly, in order to go to the Durban from Johannesburg, then you have to know exactly after Johannesburg which town, then next town, you have to know all the paths. Similarly, in order to go to the enlightenment Buddhahood, so there have many different paths. So the problem is lack of understanding of those those paths and ground stages. Then you meditate, okay, I meditate. Then something, I can become a Buddhahood. That kind of expectation because of lack of understanding of the grounds and paths. So the paths, the 5 paths, which I mentioned earlier, first, accumulation paths, second, preparation paths, then third, seeing paths, and meditation paths, then last, no more learning paths. Then the meditation path, the fourth, when you achieve there, it's not simple. You go detail in the meditation path has 10 bhumi, called 10 grounds. First ground, first bhumi, second bhumi, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10 bhumi. Then go to the no more learning paths. So these are step by step. So the first accumulation path, what kind of practice? How should I achieve accumulation path? Then next, preparation path, how I go there next. So have to go step by step, right? You can't just jump like that way. So sometimes lack of understanding of these things, then people goes there, somebody master say, you meditate this, that will take you wherever you want it, or very high meditation. So we thinking, oh, that will, I don't need to learn all these things. Rather, this is the quick path. Then they very interested, they just sit there and stay on that way, the same level. You know, According to all this Buddha, all those Indian scholars, great masters, according in their texts, because these are the people who research, who go in there, who achieve a certain level. These are the people who have experiencing, and they wrote the book through their experiencing, how they achieved that. And we are ignoring them and go to the certain masters or somebody's saying, oh, there's something. Then we follow that. Sometimes we making some kind of mistake. We're doing on that way. So then you're ignoring all other these things. This is the only take you enlightenment. So these kind of mistakes comes from lack of understanding the knowledge of the Dharma. So that's the first mistake. So therefore, hearing, go to the centers is to learn that. Before you meditate, before you go on this path, you learn first. So to go to the Durban, we have to learn. When you drive, okay, next stop, which road, what number of the road I have to go, then which road I need to change. So all these things you have to first make sure. When I go there, certain road, they do not have gas station. So this is the gas station and over there. So you have to prepare all this. If you don't know, then you lost your gas, then you're stuck, right? Sometimes you do not have food, you're stuck. So if you have completely whatever there, when you go there, you are confident. You are not led by somebody else. Then you know where is the obstacles. You know how to overcome. You know how to prepare these things. Gives you whole idea. So that's the education we needed. So these kind of things, mainly you have a study groups and you have a Dharma centers supposed to be provide these things, give these things. It's not just go there and do some blah 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 prayer only, right? It's good. What I'm saying is, if you go use much deeper way, you can do much better way. You can help more people, much deeper way. Otherwise, it's just worshiping place. Just do some prayer only. It's not. I think it's not enough. But you guys know what's. So it is saying it's swiftly accomplished grounds, 10 grounds, the 10 bhumis, and the paths, 5 paths to enlightenment. So when you have bodhicitta, bodhicitta is the mind who's seeking oneself to achieve enlightenment to sake of others. So always looking that way to achievement, the Buddhahood. So that's why that mind, whole concept, it's looking on there, your power, your talent, whatever you have, you put there is to achieve enlightenment to sake of other, for sake of other beings. So that's why it's take you swiftly, quickly on that path, to the enlightenment through those grounds and paths. Then the last one is one becomes a field accomplishing all benefit of migratory beings. So you are becoming filled. You are becoming the foundation or to accomplish all benefit of migrators being, other sentient beings. So bodhicitta is the one like a field, one like a ground, can becoming like a source of benefit for all beings. So that's why enlightened beings are very much beneficial to all sentient beings. Bodhisattvas, there are many bodhisattvas like His Holiness the Dalai Lamas. There are many greats, those masters becoming so much beneficial to all other beings because of power of bodhicitta. So that's why those Nagarjuna, right, or Asanga, Vasubandhu, all those great masters. So those great masters, in Tibet we call the Milarepa or Marpa, or, all the great masters like Lama Tsongkhapas and so forth, these masters who becoming so much beneficial to millions and millions of people, so much influence them, so much encourage them, so many of them through them, to achieve enlightenment, to achieve higher realization, so many things. All this beneficial comes from source is bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is the mind who just wants to benefit to all being. Beneficial is not just benefit of material, benefit of this material. It's mainly they seeking the beneficial is enlightenment Buddhahood. They want to take all sentient beings to enlightenment Buddhahood. That kind of strong, intention where they have their whole action, all decision, all planning. It's plan about to benefit to other. So this comes from the bodhicitta. So that's why their life is becoming like that way to beneficial to other sentient beings. So that's why all these things is come from the bodhicitta. So these are the 10 uh, advantages of the bodhicitta. So as a practitioner, even we, of course, we every time meditate, we trying, and even simple prayer, even simple dedication, you should dedicate virtues and merit to achieve that bodhicitta, and dedicating to other beings also becoming interesting, or you're becoming practice on the bodhicitta, spread the message of bodhicitta in all over the planet and beneficial them. And your simple meditation is yourself meditate. Same time, always simple prayer you're doing, you're dedicating your virtues and merit to achieve this bodhicitta. Always, every time, every day, it makes your mind very close with the bodhicitta. Then slowly, 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 eventually, we can experience, we can achieve the bodhicittas. So that's why to have that influence, we have to understanding first those, what you call the benefit of giving rise to the bodhicitta. So those 10 benefit. Then when you read many texts, the sutras, they talk about how much, the benefit of bodhicitta, the many. So reading these things to inspire you, to inspire oneself to focus, go into the practices on bodhicitta. So that gives you some kind of inspire. It helps you to encourage. It stimulates yourself to enter, to practice in bodhicitta. So that's why the beneficial. We have to first think again and again to feel like, oh, I need this mind. I have to have this mind. Without that, there's nothing. So like that. Otherwise, you completely ignore bodhicitta, say Buddha, enlightenment. So what that? Then certain practice comes there. Oh, that's the practice. You meditate, you will directly go there. So, and according to the Buddha's teaching, according to all those great master teaching, they talk about without bodhicitta, there's no way. But the practitioner, as a follower, Buddha's follower, they ignore, they don't care about bodhicitta. They say, I'm going there without bodhicitta. In the past, nobody go that way. All those, story of those Buddhas and Bodhisattva story, nobody achieved Buddhahood without bodhicitta. Now, as a practitioner, we thinking, oh, without bodhicitta, I can go there. So that's why, there are certain people, they're very interesting about certain practice. They did that practice to only take your enlightenment Buddhahood, and they're not concerned about compassion. They're not concerned about bodhicitta. So this mistake, it's we don't want to go to the foundation. We want to go one of the highest, jump there. So that's why if they achieve something, of course we can do it. But in the past, nobody achieved that. If these are possible, then all those great masters, why they're making us more difficult? if they have a much quicker, much easy way, they will going to show us excellent way. So that's why as a practitioner, now in the great scope, we all study, read about this Bodhicitta, and there are many Lam Rim practice, the texts available there. Read these things and not just try to finish fast. Even 1 or 2 pages, you read it and think more and make sure your heart really understand. Sometimes we knowing through our brain level, but we don't know about heart, through the heart. So make sure you understand again and again and try to meditate, try to investigate. Then sometimes you should gather together and discuss about these things again and again. So as a Dharma Sangha member, which means our relationship is the Dharma relationships. We are not relationship in a business. We are not relationship of our family, mundane. Dharma relationship, you have to make always something like about the Dharma. So bring about Dharma, talk about the Dharma, inspire about the Dharma. These kind of help about this Dharma each other. So that's why it can support you. Because living in this crazy, what you call the busy life, there's so many distractions. You go out every time you see about this mundane competition. You need this, you need that. All these things. We growing up, it's difficult to inspire oneself. So to inspire this, you're the Dharma friends. Is supposed to be inspire you, each other. Support each other, push each other. What you call. Help each other about the Dharma, that use and study more, and then knowing better, and then eventually practice. Okay, that's today. It's already it's almost take 1.5 hours today. I supposed to be 1 hour. Okay, so maybe next time, whenever I'm available, I will just send a message in my Skype. So then sometime, each weekend, sometime maybe once a month, it depends on the schedule. Yeah. Sometimes even myself don't know my schedule, what's going on. So it's very flexible. So its only thing is you know, sometimes they check up your Skype, the message is there or not. So that will something. Sometimes it pops up, so that we're going to keep going. Okay, then next time we're going to leave maybe not next, maybe after 2 or 3 teachings, then leave the question answer section about right now just give you the beneficial, then to achieve the bodhicitta, there are 2 different lineage, so all those details we're going to talk first. Few class, the next, and then after we'll leave question answer. Thank you very much. Have a very enjoy your weekends.